Not that I like name call or anything like that, but certainly I can have a pretty bitchy attitude, and sometimes that's all that's all you need. So for those who don't know Izel, à-bas-le-ciel, he made a video recently, another video discussing his views on pet ownership. And he mentions that the criticisms of his views that he has heard, that they aren't worthy of a response, including my video that I did talking about pet ownership. If I haven't apologized for something you think I should apologize for, it just means I don't feel sorry. I don't think I should apologize for it. It's weird that needs to be said, but it seems like now people, that's like not an option. If someone hasn't apologized, it's because they're afraid to, or they're like doubling down, or they don't want to look dumb, or something like that. Like there's not even the option of just like, maybe they don't think they should apologize.
Honestly, right now I regret even discussing this in this video, because I do think my earlier videos on this subject raised a really important argument, and I don't think I've seen even one person respond to the substance of that argument in a way that's interesting or merits any further reply or comment on my point. And of course, for those of you who know, that includes Unnatural Vegan. I mean, obviously, I appreciate that Unnatural Vegan has shown me support in my recent dealing with threats of violence, defamation, with the ridiculous catastrophe that went down in Chiang Mai. But no, what she has to say about this topic, there is not even one sentence of it that I think merits serious intellectual introspection, reflection, or critique.
So, Izel sent me the link to this video, I guess soon after it was posted. At the time, it was unlisted. It was only for his patrons. And I responded via email by expressing, my concerns. And he responded to my response via email. To be clear, my point with this video is not to denounce Izel or his channel, or even really to encourage you to stop watching his videos if you do watch his videos. It's merely to explain why I personally no longer feel comfortable recommending his channel, and why I have removed his channel from my recommended section on my channel page. I often say that when I make a response to someone, I'm not doing it like for them to reach them, but for other people, anyone else who's like viewing the video, because I think it's a much higher bar, right? He basically presents my response, my email, as me having hurt feelings because he disagreed with me and because he called, my arguments stupid. I have no problem with Izel disagreeing with me. I've disagreed with numerous points he's made in past videos. He's disagreed with me on numerous stuff. It's never been a problem because ultimately I saw his channel as promoting a pragmatic approach to veganism, which is very important to me. And he also doesn't spew like anti-science shit, anti-vax stuff, crazy diets, any of that kind of stuff. I also have no problem with Izel calling my arguments stupid or beneath contempt. There are plenty of asinine, disturbing beliefs out there that we all feel the same way about, and I don't think there's anything wrong with saying that an argument is stupid, beneath contempt, whatever other adjective you would like to use. My issue is with Izel's flippant dismissal of the argument.
This is the part that's really baffling and strange. If she wants to criticize what I have to say, that's fine, that's great, I'm happy to hear the critique. But she pretends that I didn't say anything, that I just flippantly dismissed her views without presenting any kind of in-depth critique of what the difference of opinion between us is. As is referred to here on screen in the emails that passed between us before she made this video, I had made more than 30 minutes of video content on this, and I followed up with a 15-minute video thereafter, again, in the time before this email was sent, which was certainly several days or maybe a week before she made her video in response to me. I forget exactly how many days passed. So she uses one short clip of me saying that I don't think her views merit serious consideration, and then pretends that my great sin The terrible thing I did was not devote enough time to refuting her views when I had already made multiple lengthy videos refuting precisely those views.
You know, he says in the video that he believes pet ownership is an important topic that he wants to discuss, yet when others, including myself, try to discuss it by sharing our own views, he waves them away without explaining why.
If you were paying attention when you saw the text on screen before, you've seen me apologize for hurting her feelings. And my impression is that she had hurt feelings, but even if she didn't have hurt feelings, it is certainly appropriate in this context for me to apologize to her and say, look, I'm sorry if you found what I had to say abrasive. But what's impossible for me to respond to is this bizarre pretense that I have never made my analysis of the ethics and the politics and the philosophical implications of pet ownership known. As I just showed you in a screenshot, there was already a metric ton of video content discussing this on my YouTube channel at that time. If you just search for the words pet ownership within my channel now, these are the search results I got doing a Google search for my own name plus pet ownership. I have a playlist on the topic. It is a truly surreal form of defamation to try to deal with what she has done in this response video to me that has been seen by hundreds of thousands of people and has influenced so many people in the vegan movement. And it is very strange the way in which she now justifies a further denunciation of my character by alluding to my supposed silence on this issue that I have, in plain English, discussed to death.
It's already hard to admit when we're wrong, and in that case where it's like, you know, you're admitting to potentially thousands, hundreds of thousands of people, like it's a whole nother level. So yeah, I don't make a video to reach them. I make a video to reach people who are, you know, probably less invested, maybe more willing to learn, more willing to change. When we're being criticized, we need to feel like we're being respected, and like, or even if we're just being taught something that questions our lifestyle, I think we need to be kind of handled with kid gloves a little bit. He's only interested in discussion when he thinks he can win. You know, in this case, it seems he can't actually counter the argument and is just simply unwilling to admit that he was wrong.
There is no way to make sense of this claim, neither by watching her YouTube video in isolation, nor by going back and rereading the emails she and I exchanged before she made the video. What does the word "it" refer to in this sentence? What could it possibly be that I can't defend or am unwilling to talk about, but just can't admit that I'm wrong? And reading the emails, what could it even be that she is deluding herself into thinking I feel this way about?
He can't actually counter the argument and is just simply unwilling to admit that he was wrong.
The only possible answer to what the word "it" means in this video is that I know, and I've admitted to myself, that there's nothing immoral about killing a cow to feed its meat to your own pet cat. That I really know that deep down inside, and I just, lack the moral fiber necessary to come out on YouTube and admit that I'm wrong. And that explains my silence on the matter, right? Like, it's not like I made 15 videos adding up to hours and hours of content discussing these issues in depth.
But I really try to not be so smug, and I think I succeed, and then I go to edit, and what the hell? Like, it's just there. It's just in me. I don't know what to do. How do I fix that? And maybe that's kind of inherent to criticism in general. I mean, why is it that virtually all of the drama channels, the response channels, whatever, they're run by assholes like me? It's because we're the ones who are willing to do it. We're the ones who get off on doing it. We actually like doing it. And we're also the ones who are rewarded for it, certainly. I mean, people want to see people be angry or snarky or whatever. They don't want to see calm compassionate, criticism. He did the same when commenting on Peter Singer, but even worse so. Instead of one particular argument that Singer has made, Eisel says that nothing Singer has ever said has swayed him or inspired him. Everything he has to say regarding veganism and animal ethics is stupid. So he is essentially painting an entire person's career and contribution to something very meaningful as meaningless.
Does that sound like a fair and reasonable summation of my views on Peter Singer? Or does that sound like a catty, clickbaity, gossip and drama channel trying to create interpersonal conflict out of nothing?
If you don't have a sort of kind of confrontational maybe personality, you probably don't want to do something like this that is kind of inherently involving confrontation, right? If you don't like that, you would hate doing this, even though you might be the best at it. If we encourage people to just trust us, to just believe what we say is true, that our argument is right, end of story, and that their argument is wrong, end of story, we run the risk of people treating anything we say as gospel.
This is the part of her video that most people remember. And indeed, it is memorable, where in a strange, stumbling way, she equates what I'm doing on YouTube with dangerous people like Freely and Durian Rider, because I'm asking the members of my audience to just take my word for it, to just trust me, to just have faith in what I'm saying.
The effects of throwing intellectual honesty to the wind and giving into cult mentality are unpredictable, but almost always negative. And the negative effects, these negative effects of fandoms, echo chambers, cults, whatever you want to call them, it runs both ways. I'm not suggesting that this is where Eisel and his channel are headed. Obviously, I have no clue. I'm simply stating that someone who sees no issue with painting an argument as stupid without explaining why, who sees no issue with painting a person as uninspiring with nothing of value to say without explaining why, and who sees no issue with providing incomplete information so that viewers are forced to have faith that what he's saying is true, that such a person comes across to me as someone who isn't concerned about the potential for fanaticism and echo chambers. The fact that I expressed this concern in my email and that he didn't even bother to address it in his video response, that speaks volumes to me.
I have never once recommended a brand of toothpaste on my channel, and I'm incredibly cautious in even recommending that you read a book. I don't want to waste people's time and say this book would be worth reading for you and you and you in the audience, because I don't believe that. I think books that are worthwhile and rewarding and important for me to read are probably going to be a waste of your time if we don't have the same research interest. We don't have the same. I'm someone who's incredibly cautious in asking you to take anything on faith. But what did the word "it" refer to here? What was this controversy about that Unnatural Vegan managed to escalate and dramatize out of all proportion? Pet food. So you know what? You got me, Swayze. I really am asking you to trust me, to take my word for it, to accept it as a matter of faith, that if you pay someone to kill a cow so that you can turn its meat into cat food and you can feed it to your pet cat, that cow is killed exactly the same way as if you were buying its flesh to feed yourself. Paying people to raise cows and kill them in slaughterhouses and process their meat into food, it's exactly the same. It's exactly the same moral, economic, and ecological problem. Whether the mouth that devours the flesh of the cow is your own or that of your pet cat. Trust me. No footnotes, no citations, no further explanations.
Not that I name call or anything like that, but certainly I can have a pretty bitchy attitude, and sometimes that's all that's all you need.